Hey folks, good morning. Welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. It's Monday, July the 28th. And as usual, when it's the beginning of a work week, I wish everybody who works for a living has a good week. And if you're looking for work, hopefully you'll find it. Not much happening here this morning. Looks like it's going to be a nice day, which means more outside, taking advantage of all that nature has to offer. Hopefully we don't see any grizzly bears. There's been some grizzly bear attacks in this province in this past weekend. Dangerous stuff. Right, to boxing. Yesterday when Jerry and I were talking, we touched on British heavyweight boxer Dave Allen, and we spoke about whether or not he might have an opportunity to fight for a British title. What we hadn't been aware of at that time is that a deal was signed between Dave Allen and Canada. I'm not sure if he's a Canadian citizen, based in Canada, Russian Arslenbek Makhmudov. Makmudov, you may remember, is this gigantic Bond villain-looking character who, if looks could win a world championship, hey, just give him the belts. He's a fellow who it was stopped by Ajit Kabayel, a loss that is aging very well, no doubt, back on December the 23rd, 2023. He then took a loss in August of 24 against Guido Vianello, the Italian heavyweight, who sort of blows hot and cold. You know, at times I think that he's got a lot of potential, and other times I think maybe not so much. Anyhow, Makmudov has come back, first round stoppage of a fellow by the name of Richard Brown, and it looks like he's now going to be fighting Britain's Dave Allen at Sheffield. Dave Allen has given an interview, the article's only a few hours old, to the Ring magazine, and he names the 4 names he turned down in favor of, as he describes it, his scary next opponent. Dave Allen, who is 24 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 19 by way of, was last out against fellow Brit Johnny Fisher, who he lost a split decision to, and then revenged with a 5th round knockout. And that split decision loss, a lot of people feel, was very hard to swallow. Maybe not exactly a robbery, but certainly I think the majority of people feel that Dave Allen did enough to win that fight. So, anyways, it is what it is, right? So his dispatch of Johnny Fisher was back in May in the Copper Box in the UK. Anyhow, where it was sort of left in many people's minds was that Dave Allen would probably have an opportunity to fight Jamie TKV for the British title. And according to Dave Allen, a deal was done and everything was set, but the British Boxing Board of Control ordered Fraser Clarke and TKV to fight for the British title. And I think that was... it's hard to say, right? I tend to think that Fraser Clarke deserves the opportunity. Sort of consistency, maybe, of work. Though I must say, I'm quite worried about Fraser Clarke continuing on his boxing career after a devastating knockout that sort of caved in part of his side of his head when he fought Fabio Wardley. So maybe that's a subject for a different video. Anyhow, Dave Allen was talking about these fellows that he's, was given an opportunity to fight, and let's see, during a Q&A on Instagram. It's reported in the Ring magazine, but maybe it wasn't an interview he gave to the Ring. Dave Allen said the other 4 fighters that he had the opportunity to choose from were Tony Yoka, Otto Wallin, Alexis Barrier, who's of course another Canadian, and Nelson Haisa. he says he's not sure if all 4 could have happened, but he was given 5 names, those 4 plus Arslenbek Makhmudov. And Dave Allen said, I picked the guy who will be announced next week. He's scary and he only comes to knock you out. So I thought, right style for me to beat. If I win, the next one, I'm in the conversation for a fight with a legit world-class heavyweight. If I lose, I'll have one last go at winning the British title, then I'm done. So, if he beats Makmudov, a legit world-class heavyweight, I wonder who that might be. Could it be Hrgovic? Could it be Bakoli? Could it be Ajagba? Not sure. Interesting. Now, can he get through Makmudov? Well, Ajit Kabayel found the key to get into Makmudov, and that was working the body. But I'm not sure if Ajit Kabayel and Dave Allen are cut from the same piece of cloth. I tend to think very, very highly of Ajit Kabayel. I think Ajit Kabayel might be maybe the 3rd or 4th best heavyweight in the world today. And as much as I like Dave Allen, very, very likable fellow with an outstanding, good YouTube presence, and seems to be a real sort of, everyman kind of fan favorite. I don't think that Dave Allen has got that sort of skill set that Ajit Kabayel has. Makmudov, very much a come-forward fighter, very powerful, clearly looking for knockouts. 36 years of age, he'll be the older man. Dave Allen's only 33, though Dave Allen, I think, is more, would you say shop-worn? Maybe shop-worn is, maybe it's a bit harsh, but he's certainly got some miles on the clock. I think, just at first blush, I think that Makmudov might be a little bit too much for Dave Allen to handle, to be perfectly honest. If Dave Allen, provided he comes through it okay, but still takes a loss, then reverting back to that campaign for a British title might well be a smart play. Would we like to see Dave Allen in against TKV or Fraser Clark, depending on who wins? That could be an interesting, either of those fights could be interesting. It would be nice, and I use the word nice, because Dave Allen is sort of such a sort of an everyman, an underdog type fellow. It would be nice to see him win a British title. I tend to think that's where his ceiling is, to be perfectly honest. Even if he should prevail over Makmudov, I would struggle to see him do really, really well against, a legit top 10 heavyweight contender. But you never know, right? Heavyweight boxing, it's an interesting business. Let me know who you think you would like to see Dave Allen in against after his fights with Makmudov. Let me see. He said about him and TKV, he said, me and TKV was agreed and was just waiting for the British title to be on the line, but then the board ordered TKV and Clark, so it fell through at the final hurdle. Yes. I have read that the fight with Makmudov, it's not on BoxRec yet, but I have read somewhere that it is being scheduled for Sheffield. I haven't seen a confirmed date. Like I say, it's not on BoxRec, but it could be a really cool homecoming fight, I guess. Generally homecoming for Dave Allen. So keep our eyes peeled, see when it's announced on BoxRec, and see who else would be on that card. It'll be a matchroom card, apparently. All right, that's all for me for the moment. Time to go and do some outside chores. I may catch up with you later on. Have a fabulous day, and please hit like, share, and subscribe. Yes, those very important things. But most importantly, have a fabulous day wherever in the world you are. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.